Hey, Divine Leader. Welcome to this episode on money in 2022 and beyond. This podcast is originally being recorded in January of 2022, and the universal principles that are going to be shared here are applicable whenever you are tuning into them. I was really guided by the beginning of the year to tap into some of the energy trends around money, to recognize that there really has been, as a part of our larger evolution in consciousness, there's also been an evolution in consciousness around money. Now, back in 2005, I first was introduced to a council of light beings that were called the Money Muse Panel. And on this Money Muse Panel, there was the overlighting Deva of new money frequencies. So an overlighting Deva is like a steward. So the steward of money, the steward of new money frequencies. And I think that that was one of the first times that I was conscious of the changing of the guard, the old paradigm of money and the new paradigm of money. And as I was really tuning into what would be the highest contribution to seven-figure spiritual leader community, there was this desire to deepen into what the energy trends are around money now in the new paradigm of unity consciousness, of the golden age, of 5D living, of whatever you would talk about, or however you would name this evolutionary time that we are in. And to set the stage a little bit more, there really is a recognition that perhaps if we look at the higher purpose of money as a tool of evolving consciousness, that in survival consciousness or in separation consciousness, money is money, yet there was a lot of overlays placed upon money. And perhaps I haven't really talked to the old. It might be interesting to see if the old overlighting Deva of money comes in when I bring in the guides here. Yet I haven't really talked to the old being of money per se, yet my sense is that one of the purposes of money was to catalyze consciousness, and that continues to be the case. However, the way that money catalyzed consciousness in the old paradigm was really bringing up the survival instincts, the safety patterning, and a lot of that third chakra energy of the will and power over and power under. Now, of course, you need to have a very strong solar plexus and leadership energy, yet there was a lot of scarcity around money and overlays and projections, because money is money. Yet if we look at how much of a catalyst money has been and continues to be, there's really a lot to be grateful for. And it's one of the things that I love about what the Council of Light and Thoth and the team often talk about, is that it's not about trying to get rid of anything that we don't prefer or that may be outdated. It's more about, because that just creates more separation. We try to separate from what's already separate, that separates, yet rather to include it back in the wholeness, back in the oneness. So as we're beginning this exploration about money in 2022 and beyond, it felt important to start with a real honoring and acknowledgement. And I invite you to be in this space with me, if you're open to it, to really send love to the old paradigm of money, to send love to all the experiences and the growth, the catalytic forward momentum that you've experienced around this topic of money, and to really include that in as rocket fuel for your evolution in consciousness. Now, in order for the rocket fuel to really be rocket fuel for the evolution in consciousness, it needs to be in the rocket. It needs to be included. It needs to be acknowledged. And so maybe you even kind of jot down or pause this podcast for a second to just kind of contemplate, like, what has been your biggest money struggles or your issues around money, and what kind of the pain around money, what has money shown you from this old perspective, and then to really descend love and appreciation to the old way of being with money, the old paradigm of money, and to recognize new year, 2022, new beginning, and that there is now a passing of the guard, and there has been for a while, but a passing of the guard around this higher purpose of money. So this podcast could also be called The Higher Purpose of Money in 2022 and Beyond. So that's what I wanted to share. And I'm feeling like bringing in the guides here sooner than later to really share about these energy trends. So if you're new to the podcast, or you're new to me, or you're new to channeling, and basically it just takes me a couple minutes or a couple moments to tap into the beings of light that I have a relationship with and an agreement with to partner and to be accessing this consciousness from a more multidimensional field than I may be tapping into. Of course, I tap into the multidimensional field as me, as Danielle, in my normal waking consciousness. Yet it's really a profound experience. And so I invite you to also recognize that this may be a gift that you've left yourself to find, and to open up to receive what's yours from it, and nothing more, nothing less. And I often will channel with my eyes open, and yet I'm feeling like they may stay closed for a little bit if you're watching this on video. So that is also an invitation for you to close your eyes if you're called to go even more deeply into the energies. Hello, dear ones. This is Thoth with the overlighting Deva of new money frequencies, the Council of Seven money beings, and the being of light that is money, moving more into the forefront of this divine transmission. We are gathering questions that we're aware of being most commonly asked around the trends with money and what money is going to be like in 2022 and beyond. Now, we would begin at the beginning, which is to create as much as you can a fresh start, to have a willingness or an openness to be entering into 2022 and beyond in the area or the arena or your relationship with money as if it is brand new, as if you knew not what you knew about money before. And we know that this unlearning process is one that can be tricky, for it also brings up one of the core splits of separation, which is separation from source. When you were first incarnating into this lifetime, when you were born, there was that sense of being in pure light and love and frequency coming into form. And one of the tickets to incarnate, which from our perspective, you stood in line to be here during this time and to have a role in the new paradigm of abundance, of wealth, of money, of higher consciousness, or you wouldn't be here in the 7-Figure Spiritual Leader podcast, that there was that divine forgetting or that amnesia that was naturally a part of coming into form. And so when we start to suggest that it will serve you really well in 2022 and beyond, as much as possible, to be in beginner's mind, to be in newness, to be in a fresh relationship, to be present with money and the frequencies of money, the energy of money, your relationship to money, receiving money, having money, transmitting money, your finances, the way that even when you are looking at something that you know, like let's say you know what a bank account is, and you know that when you open your bank account, there are going to be numbers there. And you may see like money coming in, money coming out. And then there may be these old ways of structuring that in your mind, of saying, okay, well, I know that this is my bank account. I know that these are expenses. And I know that this is income. And the expenses are negative money and the income is positive money. And so there's always this positive, negative kind of dance that's going on in the bank account. Now, we're not talking about ignoring what is or at all putting your head in the sand. What we're conveying here is, what if you open your bank account as if it was the first time that you were seeing this house of money, this container that you have of money. And that might even be something that you try, just to go in and see, well, okay, what if I was completely fresh in this now moment and I wasn't bringing in the overlays, and by I, we mean you, what if I wasn't bringing in the overlays or the expectations or the judgments that this should be higher, or this is too low, or this is too much, or this is, I've got to work harder or somehow bring in more money or get money to come into my life. Like, what if there was this clear field or this 0 point or this fresh perspective? And this is the first key to really amplifying your money in 2022 and beyond, is to be in a fresh relationship with money, to be open to what you're perceiving in the now moment based on an open field, based on a willingness to enter in with this clear field, with this beginner's mind. We know you're an adept, yet that conveys kind of what we're talking about here. And then what can start to emerge is the new signature energy of money. And this is what we're really getting to, is that just like in science, in experiments, you may have heard this, that when something is being observed, the subject of that observation changes, is influenced by the observer. And so when you go, okay, I know about money, money is this, money is that, money is the other thing, this is the money I have, this is the money I don't have, this is the institutions of money, the banks, the investments, the credit cards, the crypto, the whatever they are, as you've known them to be, then it's almost like you're not interacting with the new money frequencies or the new money being or the new paradigm of money. You're interacting with the old energy of money. And then that will naturally be coloring what it is that your experience is around money in 2022 and beyond. So it's a little bit like if you have known someone for a very long time and you kind of fall into a certain way of being. Maybe it's a childhood friend or a family member that's you've known your whole life, that's known you their whole life. And it's almost like it creates this field of predictability where you find yourself showing up in this old identity way. So one of the biggest gifts that you can give to money and your relationship with money and the money that is a part of your mission and championing your mission and really a part of your 2022 and beyond is to show up clear, to show up neutral, to show up from an open space to show up not only with your relationship or your observation of money as being brand new to you, yet also yourself in this subject area, to not be falling into the ways of being that you used to have. Now, we know if you're here, most likely you already have a really beautiful partnership with money that we often work with those that are 6 and 7-figure leaders in the transformational industry. And so when we're talking about this, you may go, well, wait, money's good, money's great. Why would I want to come to a place of 0 point or this neutrality or this beginner's mind? Because in order to really have that next income leap with money and to be in the new paradigm of money, which is based on love, which is based on co-creation, which is based on this energy of more life to all, this win, 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 that is also uncoupled. This is 2022 is the Grand Uncoupling of, and we don't mean that for relationships yet, the uncoupling of the old money expectations and ways of being, to really be opening up, just like when you meet someone for the first time or you're falling in love, you're opening up to getting to know them and being surprised, being joyfully surprised. And so when we look at money in 2022 and beyond, there is this step one or key one, which is to be, well, really step 0 was to really send love to money and your relationship with money up until this point, and to include all of that growth in the rocket as rocket fuel for your evolution in consciousness, and also the exponentiating of your relationship and your having of money. And step 1 is being open. Because maybe in the old paradigm, money may have been a sore subject. It might have been a sore subject for your parents. It may have been a sore subject for someone that you love. Like, there may have just been this kind of, it's complicated energy around money, whether that's yours or from conventional wisdom or collective consciousness. So step 0, love all that was in the area of money. Step 1, be clear and new and fresh, which then starts to beckon forth step 2, which is to be connecting to the essence of money as not only a tool and a pathway of higher consciousness, yet as having a primary role in raising consciousness on the planet, having a primary role of raising consciousness on the planet. And as you are connecting to the new money deva and the new money frequencies, and you're connecting to the higher purpose of money in the new paradigm, which is to be raising consciousness in a very fast way, then you're building a relationship with the direction and the energy that money is going in. So we know that it can be confusing at times because you have a certain level of success that has been based on what has gotten you here. And what has gotten you to your current level of success, what got you to 6 figures won't get you to 7 figures. What got you to creating a 5-figure program won't get you to creating a 6 or 7-figure program, or building your wealth and being of greater service, greater contribution. And so there can be that, again, well, I know that way worked to a certain degree, so I'd rather hold on to that way than to open up to the unknown. And when you're clear and you're in alignment with money and the new money frequencies and the new paradigm of money, then you're in tune with the direction that money is going in. And then you're partnering with money, because money is also going in your direction to be this infinite, self-regenerating source of surplus and money that is overflowing, so that as a spiritual leader, as you have more units of money consciousness, of units of money in your life, then that is also a way that your higher consciousness is spreading throughout the planet. And we've used this analogy before, where if you look at money as an energy, and like water is, in a sense, a vessel. Water can hold salt. Water can also have tea that's steeped in it. Water can have food coloring in it. So water is a carrier. And water's water, of course. Water's water. And so money in the new paradigm has also not only the higher purpose, yet an agreement or a choice to be carrier of seeds of consciousness, of love, of sovereignty, of this more life for all kind of energy, of this surplus energy. Because if we had a magic wand, and it's really why we talk about money, because if you've known us for a long time or you've read our books, we've been on this leading wave of the evolution in consciousness for a long time, for more than 25 years of Danielle's Earth years. And so the separation consciousness, and what has created separation and a distraction for a lot of spiritual leaders, has been around this whole subject of money. And it just, it's not coherent. It's not coherent. It's just not coherent or congruent. And when you're buoyed by money, and you have money, and you're regularly in higher vibrations and higher states of consciousness, and you're choosing to be a contribution to others, and you have this kind of stance in the world to, and in the galaxy, to raise consciousness, to hold a field of greater possibilities for all those that are choosing, then money becomes a transportation vehicle or a carrier of these seeds of consciousness. And it's not like you can follow your dollar or your euro or your gold or your silver, your crypto, or your whatever currencies you play with. Yet when it's in your arena or your field, and then it circulates, it circulates all over the globe. So if you are an entrepreneur, and let's say you're a transformational leader with your own business, and you have a global business, like Divine Transmissions is a global business, the money that you receive may come from India, may come from Singapore, may come from the States or Canada or all over. And there's also different currencies. And New Zealand, whatever, England, whatever the places are. Because money touches most individuals on the Earth star. And so if you were to follow not that it's your money, yet if you were to follow the money that has been and continues to pool in your field, and you can see that your vision that you have for the Earth is carried in that money, and then it touches other individuals' lives, it's the exponential expansion of consciousness. So as we're wrapping up here, we would invite you to really embrace, if you're called, this being brand new with money, and then also listening in some ways to the new higher purpose of money, the higher frequency, and then the direction that this money is going in. Because like we always say, money is money. And yet at the same time, money may have been or continues to be the path for you to be your most empowered self, or to be your creator self, or to be accessing your birthright of abundance, or to be accessing the infinite, the divine, all that there is, God, Goddess, Great Spirit, infinite oneness. And so we would love to hear from you if this is resonating, or you've had an aha, that you also share this episode with others, that you post a review of this podcast, and that there is this freshness. The new paradigm of money in 2022 and beyond is fresh, fresh, fresh. All is light and love, and we are all.